Yo, what's up guys? This is Clever Techie, and in this video we're gonna learn how to install CakePHP 3.1 on Windows. Before we begin, let me just give you a quick overview of what the Model View Controller framework is, which is what CakePHP is. As you can see in this chart I created, it's got a model, view, and a controller. And you can think of the controller as your primary source code, and its priorities are to interact and communicate with the models and pass the model data over to the views. The model is like your database and data storage, where all the data is going to be pulled by the controller, and the view is going to be the presentation layer consisting of HTML, CSS, images, JavaScript, etc. So it's just a template with all the graphics, and this is what the end user is going to see. And its primary job of the view is to present the model data and the controller source code in a nicely formatted way. I'm going to go back to this chart later on, but this should give you a good overview of what the Model View Controller framework is. Now let's get started and install CakePHP 3.1. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to this official CakePHP guide. And the first thing we're going to do is scroll down here and install the Composer. So for Windows systems, you can download Composer to Windows Installer here. Just going to go ahead and click on this link and scroll down a little bit and click Composer Setup 3.0. Now what the Composer is just a dependency management tool for PHP. And what it's going to do is install all the necessary CakePHP files for us. So we're just going to go ahead and run it and just click next. I'm not going to install shell menus. Click next. And you want to navigate to the directory where your PHP is installed, where your php.executable file is. Click next. Now I'm just going to wait a little bit till the Composer is installed. And once the Composer is installed, we're basically ready to download and install CakePHP. And from the CakePHP website here, it just tells you to, if the Composer is installed globally, just type this line followed by the app name. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. Since our Composer is installed globally, we're going to go ahead and fire up the command prompt. And you want to navigate to the directory where you have all your web files. And it's going to be your, most likely it's going to be your Apache htdocs folder. My folder is named C/localhost. And that's where I keep all my web files here. Now, what I'm going to do is paste that line. And if you want to know what all these commands are, I've broken it down for you in this file here, and I'm going to include the link to this file in the description of the video if you want to go over and figure out what all these commands mean. But basically, we're just going to type our app name, and I'm going to name it first app, and just going to press enter. And that should download all the necessary CakePHP files into our localhost directory and create the first app folder with all the application files in it. So we're just gonna wait here a little bit, and you should be getting these messages saying that the CakePHP is being installed. And should take a little while here. So what it's doing is just downloading all the application files and the main core CakePHP library, just like it says here. Once the Composer finishes downloading the application skeleton and the core CakePHP library, you should have functioning CakePHP application installed by Composer. Be sure to keep the Composer, blah blah blah. Okay, and here, set the folder permission. You want to say yes, so just press enter, and that will default to yes. So after that is done, you can keep the command prompt open and go ahead and navigate to the directory where where you have downloaded CakePHP. Mine is a C localhost, and as you can see here, the first app folder showed up, so I'm just going to open it. And boom, all the CakePHP files are here. Now let's just go over the directory structure real fast so you guys have a better understanding of what all those folders mean. If I go to if we go back to the command prompt and navigate to the folder that we just created, first app, and type dir, which is a list the directory, and as you can see, there's a bin folder in here. So let's go ahead and navigate to it. And once you're inside the bin folder, go ahead and type cake. So once you type cake, you should have all these. You should have the CakePHP version showing up, and you can also see the directories. So the app, where your app lives, is the src directory, and you can see that right here. And that's where your model view and controller primary source code is going to be, hence the name src, standing for source code. Now the root directory is your app folder directory, and finally the core is like the core CakePHP library, where all the CakePHP functions and libraries and classes live, is this folder here. And you can also see it here in the vendor, CakePHP. And also, if we go back here to the main website, and here I got a link here somewhere to the directory structure. It's gonna show you like all the directory structure and what all of these mean. But the primary folders that we're gonna be concerned with are the config, src, webroot, and the bin folder. So the config is where we're gonna be configuring our database and the routes. The src is again the model view controller. That's going to be your primary source code, and that's where we're going to be doing most of the coding. Webroot is where we're going to have all our publicly reachable files, like CSS, JavaScript, and images. And the bin is where the cake bake commands are, and this is the directory that we're going to be running our cake console commands to generate code automatically. So let's go ahead and configure the database first. And for that, we're going to open up the command prompt and connect to the MySQL console and create an empty database. So with your command prompt open, connect to your MySQL console. And just go ahead and create database first app. Oh, well, my database already exists, but yeah, just go ahead and create the empty database, and then we're gonna go back to the configuration folder here in our first app, config, and you want to open up the app.php file, which is the file that's going to have the database configuration. Now it's got other configuration settings here. As you can see, the file is pretty big, so just hit Control Find in your IDE and look for MySQL. Now once it found the MySQL keyword, this is your data sources, is where your database configuration file is. So we're just going to replace these database username and password with our real database configuration. So my database name is first app, and my user is root, and my password is Clever Techie 123. Control S to save the file, and the database configuration file is now complete. It should now successfully connect to the database, and we're going to test it out in just a second. Now let's see what else we got here. Okay, so we want to enable these extensions in our php.ini file. So let's go ahead and open up the php.ini. I'm assuming you guys already have PHP and Apache and MySQL installed. If you don't, check out my other videos. I have all the videos on how to do that. So I'm going to navigate to my PHP folder and then open up php.ini file. And I want to go ahead and search for one of these extensions. Just going to search for these. Yeah. Just going to search for mbstring. And just verify that all these extensions are uncommented. The mbstring extension and PHP intl and OpenSSL. So just make sure they're all uncommented. Mine are already uncommented, so I'm just going to close this. After you've done that, make sure you save the file and also restart your Apache. Okay, so let's see what else we got. Restart Apache. Okay, well, we're ready to give CakePHP a test run now in the development mode. So go ahead and navigate to your first app root directory, and we're just gonna type. Actually, you want to stay in the bin folder. I'm sorry. And from the bin folder, you want to type cake server. And what this will do is this is not going to run the CakePHP on your Apache. This is going to utilize CakePHP internal web server, and it's going to run it at localhost colon 8765. So we're just going to test this out right now. We're just going to go to this URL here, localhost 8675 was it? And boom, look at that. CakePHP is all set up and ready to go. Your TMP directory is writable, logs directory is writable. Okay, PHP version is good, all the extensions are enabled, and it's able to connect to the database. So great, you're ready to run CakePHP in the development mode. Now, if we're gonna run it with the Apache, here we're gonna do something different here. We're gonna exit out of this, so just press Ctrl+C to terminate the batch job, and exit out of the CakePHP built-in server. And there's a couple of configuration files we want to do in Apache before we run it in the development mode. Production. I'm sorry. And so go ahead and open up your httpd.conf, which is the Apache configuration file. I'm going to navigate to my file here, Apache config httpd.conf, and you want to make sure you have these settings here. You want to search for the directory, or you can search for follow symlinks in your Apache configuration file, and you want to make sure that you have these settings here. Just copy it, type it exactly as you see here for the directory settings. And also you want to make sure that the rewrite module is being loaded. So I'm just going to search for that. So just make sure this line is uncommented here, and I think that's it. Yep. Okay, so you want to save that, and again restart your Apache. And now we're ready to go ahead and check out our app in the actual production mode. So let's test it out right now. Localhost, navigate to the directory where your Apache files are installed, and type first app if that's the name of your application. Hit enter, and everything should look just like it looked in the development mode. So everything it's been connected to the database, all the directories are ready to go and set up, and all the PHP stuff is good to go as well. Now from this point, you guys that's it. CakePHP is installed and you don't need to do anything else. I'm just going to show you a couple of optional steps here, which is we're actually going to import a table full of records into our database. And it's going to be really easy to do. What you're going to do is just download this uscities.csv file, which is in the description of the video. And we're gonna basically connect to our database, and we're gonna copy and paste this code, and make sure that we provide the directory for our file that we downloaded, and this will just import all the records from this database CSV file automatically. So let me just guide you over that real fast here. Okay, I'm gonna go and open up my folder where I have this file, just to show you guys it's here. And basically what it is just a CSV file with a bunch of city records, and you know, it's got the ID, the city name, the state name, and the population of each and every city, along with the growth of the population. Okay, so we have an empty database and we have the CSV file. Here's a very easy way to import it. Just note the directory where you have downloaded the file, and replace that directory, you know, right here in this string, and make sure you use the / instead of the \, otherwise it won't work. Once you have done that, if you made sure that, you know, you're pointing to the directory where your file has been downloaded, you just want to copy this whole code, and then we're going to connect to our MySQL database again. Clever Techie 1, 2, 3, and just go ahead and paste. Just right mouse click here. Oh, before you do that, you want to use the database, so just go ahead and use your database name. See, the database has changed, and now paste the code, and as you can see, all the records have been imported from that file. Now, to test it out real fast and make sure that records have been imported, we're just going to go select from US cities, which is the table name, and we're going to limit 10. We don't want to select over 1,000 records. And as you can see, all the records are indeed there, so our database has been created, and we have also created the table named US cities, and the top 1,000 United States cities have been imported into the database. So we're now ready to work with this database table and all this data. Okay, so just keep your just exit out of the console, but keep the command prompt open for now. And right now what we're gonna do is utilize Cake's bake tool to generate the controller and also the view, also known as a template. And this is really easy to do. Just go ahead and again navigate to your bin folder and just type cake bake controller, and this is gonna give us the name of the controller we can bake. So as you can see here, possible controllers based on your current database is US cities. So that's what we're gonna do. Cake bake controller US cities. Press enter, and automatically the controller has been generated for us. We're also gonna do the same exact thing for the template for the view. We're gonna type cake bake template US cities. Press enter, and the view has been generated as well. Now to view the actual thing, we're gonna go here, first app, US underscore cities, which is the name of our controller. Gonna hit enter, and look at that. Cake has automatically generated the controller and made all this functionality for us. It's also pulling the data from our table and presenting it in a view, which is a template that we just generated. And you can go ahead and view each individual record and view all the records. You can also delete a record, you can edit it, and all these templates have been generated automatically for us. So you can just see, you can add a new city, and that will all work. So you can just see how powerful CakePHP can be with just those baking commands, and this is just a glimpse into its power. And I'm gonna go ahead and create another video and explain how the MVC works and how go into the depth of how CakePHP works as well. this was just an installation video, and I hope it's been helpful. That's it.